So, thank you everyone for making time to come to the third edition of Fresh Talks. Today, Rohit will be talking about his summit, about his trek to Mount Kilimanjaro. Rohit works with the platforms team, and the takeaway from this talk, hopefully, would be for all of us to learn about the values of perseverance and hard work in climbing not just the mountain literally, but also figuratively in all our lives. So, on to Rohit.
Thanks a lot, Aksha. Hi, everybody. I'm Rohit. I'm a product manager with the platforms team. And during the next 20 odd minutes, I hope to take you through my story of how I got to Mount Kilimanjaro and some life lessons that have stayed on with me ever since. So I think all of this started in March last year when a group of my college friends and seniors started an email thread about, hey, let's go to Tanzania, we'll do something there. And Mount Kilimanjaro was on their agenda list. I said, okay, let's sign up. This is one of those plans that never works out. But let's see. Tanzania sounds interesting. A WhatsApp group was formed. And I think we started discussing immediately about tour operators and hotel bookings, flight tickets, which route to take, what vaccinations to make. And I thought, okay, this is getting real and we're probably actually going to make it. So I actually went in full on. And yeah, the plan was on. We were going to Kilimanjaro in August last year. And I had 3-4 months to prepare. What I realized was most of the people in my group were either athletes since childhood or they'd been gone on various different treks before Kilimanjaro. And I realized I probably couldn't run a kilometer together. So I put myself a challenge that, okay, if I could run 45 minutes without getting tired at one stretch, then I'm probably ready. So I installed the Runkeeper app. And the first time I think I stopped after a kilometer, sat by the side of the road, and thought this is not my cup of tea. But I think I just carried on. And 4 months later, I was at my goal. Within 45 minutes, I could run 6 kilometers at a decent pace. And I didn't run out of breath. So I was like, okay, fine. This is still 4 days to go to the trek. I think if I can just keep up this level of health, I'll be okay. Being the cheap bachelors that we are, we took the cheapest flight. I flew to Bombay, flew to Addis Ababa in Ethiopia, then flew to Nairobi, had a 9-hour layover, and then went to Tanzania, Moshi. We were greeted by our travel operator there. And we were told that the number one utility you look for in a hotel in Moshi is mosquito nets. So the first time you realize that Wi-Fi is not as important, you need to protect yourself from malaria and dengue. The next day, it all began. We reached the foothills of Mount Kilimanjaro. We were a group of 3 people. We traveled together and 10 people assisting us. So we actually had a head guide, an assistant guide, a cook, a cleaner, and 6 porters. Now imagine this is a national park, so there is absolutely nothing on the mountain. So whatever you have to take, including food, tents, clothing, everything has to be carried with you. So these were all these people who were going to help us. You can see some porters in the background there who are going to carry some stuff for us. As we started the climb on the Lemosho route, this Lemosho route was going to be about 70 kilometers long over the course of 7 days. The first signboard that we came across was about altitude mountain sickness. And AMS was, everybody told us that it's not going to be physical endurance, it won't be mental endurance, but you don't know how your body is going to behave at high altitudes when AMS starts to kick in. So we were already told about this, that if you get AMS, just descend as fast as you can. During the trek up, we made some good friends with the trek guide and the porters, and we were trying to learn Swahili. So, the first word that we learned was jambo, which means hello. So everybody walking by would call out jambo loudly, and that just keeps the momentum going. Then you had asante, which is thank you for whenever somebody gave you away or offered you a drink. But the most important word and the most commonly used word was Polé. And this meant slowly, slowly. So even if you're too enthusiastic and climbing up faster, they'd call out Polé. Or if you're too tired and you just want to sit down, again, Polé is what we kept hearing. In fact, everything in Africa turned out to be Polé. By the end of the first day, we got to the Timkuba camp. It was just a 3-hour trek. We were feeling very excited that, okay, fine, first day is done and we're not even tired. Super excited. We put up our tents and decided to retire for the night. Our tour guide said that since your bodies are in such good shape, why don't we attempt doing day 2 and day 3 together? This would give us an advantage in the later days because contrary to the normal 8-day limo show, we were doing the 7-day limo show. So day 2 we begun. This was going to be a really long day for us. We had to trek 22 kilometers. Our watches said it was about 28. But 22 kilometers we set off talking, making merry. The vegetation changes. It's very low shrubs right now. And you also get the first view of Kilimanjaro. I don't know if you can see it. But clouded by, among the clouds, you see the first sighting of Kilimanjaro. And the first thing that came to my mind was, that is really far. And trekking there, I don't know how we're going to do it. We still set on. I think halfway through it is when all of us started getting really tired. It's almost been 16 kilometers on a gradual incline that we've been going. And it's in these moments that you get silent and you start to get reflective about how things are going to work out and why you're here. And after a point in time, it's mostly meditative. You're just walking step by step, taking the next step forward. And Polé, as you say it, you're just going to get there. I think by the end of it, we had completely decided this was a wrong call to take 2 days together. 22 kilometers is just too much to do in a single day. But we did get to the camp. We all considered giving up because this had just become too much for our bodies. And with every bone aching, we saw this view of Kilimanjaro. However beautiful it was, I think we just couldn't fathom. I think it's that point where you get to where you're that tired that all beauty fades away and you just want all of it to stop. So we just decided that, okay, let's call it a night. Let's get up early tomorrow morning and let's decide what you want to do next. Comes to day 3, our tour guider happily lied to us that this was the most difficult part of the trek is done. Now it's all easy, you'll just get to the mountain and it's just 3 or 4 hour treks every day. And you're just gonna get there, typical tour guidey stuff. And we fell for that trap. So we set off towards Kilimanjaro. That's a postcard photo almost. And you see the terrain started getting more mountainous. So the incline increases. And we are walking towards Lava Tower. It is for an acclimatization process. Now, this is where I learned something beautiful about our human bodies. That once you get to an altitude, your body starts to learn the symptoms of that altitude. And it starts to basically adapt. So when you come down again and come back to that altitude, your body will behave much better. So we were supposed to rise almost, have an ascent of almost 2,500 feet in a course of an hour and see how our bodies react. We saw a lot of people who had gotten to get AMS symptoms, but fortunately, the 3 of us were all okay. Very tired, but I think the first sighting of Kilimanjaro that close just gave us so much hope that, okay, this is getting closer. We just didn't realize it was still 2,000 meters and 2 days away till the summit. But you can see all the beautiful glaciers there, and it just seemed really close. We ended our day at Barranco camp. We are still 2 camps before the summit. And while others decided to chill in the tent, I was outside soaking the beautiful views. The next day, we came out of the tent and we saw this. And we always assumed that this is something we'll just go around. This is called the Barranco wall. When the tour guide said that, hey, Polé, we'll just go up, and this is the wall that you have to climb. And we said this was not part of the package. We're not ready for rock climbing and all. But ultimately, we did get on it. You can see those tiny little bags on top. Resulted in a traffic jam because it's that narrow, where you just have one person who can go up. And I think there's a point where you have to hug a rock to get past it, and you can only do it one at a time. And they've aptly named it the kissing rock. So we were actually thinking how many people would have really kissed this before, us. Our guesstimate was about 500,000, but the end of this wall was this beautiful view. I think every day of our trek, this has been one highlight, that we go to a point wherein we just give up, that we want to go back. I just want to go home. And there's a point where you feel, can I live this a little more longer? I think this was the first time when I was seeing something this beautiful. You have the glorious sun shining on this beautiful volcano. And we could all just soak in all of it together. This is our route back. And you see our tents are also at an incline now. So it's really steep by the time we got to Karanga camp. And this is the beautiful view from our tent where we actually stayed. Day 5. Now this is where it all begins. Today we were going to go to base camp, and from base camp at midnight, trek to Kilimanjaro. The terrain is obviously very steep now, so while it's only a 3-hour trek from Karanga camp to the base camp, Barafu, it takes the toll on your body. You're already very tired. You're probably not even eating enough now because appetite drops like crazy. But we did make it to Barafu in afternoon, and that's us, visibly tired. And so this is almost afternoon. We have till midnight, about 12 hours to start our summit. And you do the summit in midnight because there's no sun, so it's just better for the bodies. Also because I have a strange feeling that you don't get to see the terrain, so you don't realize how steep it is. You can just keep walking, and you never realize where you're going. So this is just us. It was very warm inside the tent, while the temperatures outside were almost about 2-3 degrees at base camp here. The view outside our tent was also very pretty. Yeah. I think this is the best photo that we've taken of the entire trek, above the clouds. And I think they'd chosen the place to keep our tent right beside the cliff. So if we actually stepped out on the wrong side of the tent, we might actually go down. So it was at 12 this night that we started the trek. And I'm wearing 6 layers of clothes because I've been told that the temperatures, obviously as we start, are going to be freezing. When we started the trek at base camp, it's already 0 degrees. And they're saying as the night grows, the temperatures are definitely going to go down. And in the midnight is when day 6 starts. Now, we've not eaten a lot of food. All our water is going to turn to ice really soon. And we're not getting any sleep as well. So that's how we start our trek to the summit. We visibly show signs of AMS. One person is visibly very ill. And when AMS kicks in, you feel dizzy, it's nausea, vomiting, everything comes together. And at that point in time, I think how much ever you've prepared, how much ever physically fit you are, it doesn't really matter. After that, it's only about, are you mentally strong to keep going and keep hitting at it? I think this is just a photo of us trying to get some juices, which had still not frozen at the peak. We realized that the temperature at that time was almost minus 20 degrees Celsius. Our toes were completely frozen. We were told that's normal. And we were literally walking just because we knew how to walk, but there was absolutely zero sensation in either of our fingertips or our toes. Only to see the sunrise like this. So pure beauty once we come up at that level. And this is called Stella Point, which is the second highest peak in Mount Kilimanjaro. This is actually, if you reach till here, you get a certificate called the Green Certificate, which you only get if you reach Stella Point. It's just below Uhuru Peak, and Uhuru Peak is still 1 hour away. But you can see it in the distance. So it's meant to motivate you that everybody's out there celebrating. You just have to go 1 more hour at this, and you might reach the top. Difficult 1 hour. We did make it. And I think this is my most cherished photo of the entire trip, obviously. The 3 of us had no idea what a deal it was. I think even while taking the photo, we really did not imagine how much of a feat it was. It was only on our way down that we started to realize that, okay, we've actually gotten to the top, and it's quite something. The temperature is obviously minus 20. You can see that beautiful ice formation and the clouds in the background. Yeah, and that terrorist is me. It's only while coming down that we realized that it was really steep when we went up. So they take us in the night so that it's, you don't really, your mind doesn't play tricks with you when you're climbing that steep. But while coming down, we realized that it took us almost 4 hours to come down to our base camp. We could only wait there for, this is a photo of us just resting. But we could only wait at the base camp for about half an hour, and then we had to pack our stuff and go down because the other people had to come in. So we've started at midnight, we've done the summit, we've come down 4 hours, we've got to do another 4 hours down because we've got to vacate the base camp. So I think it was almost 6 o'clock by the time we reached Maweka camp. That's the last pit stop towards us going back, which is where we come to day 7. Day 7 is mostly just us recollecting memories, trying to figure out how we felt when we actually got to the top. None of us had many recollections of, what we were really feeling. It wasn't exhilaration, it wasn't excitement. It wasn't that we've achieved something in life and or something. It was much more peaceful than that, and we were just happy that we got to do it. Some more beautiful photos that we got while during our trek down. We actually did not take a lot of photos because we did not want to carry the extra weight with the DSLR, and the iPhone camera just kept shutting off because at temperatures like that, the iPhone apparently just shuts down. And Apple actually released a new iPhone to correct this bug now. This is when we actually got back to ground level. It says congratulations at the entire team that went with us, the tour operators and everybody. And this is the moment that our tour guide had been preparing us for, the golden certificate that you get when you reach Uhuru Peak. You get it when you're coming out of the national park. And your guide and your assistant guide is supposed to give this to you as a gesture of appreciation. I think the next day as we set out of Moshi, this was the last view that we got of Mount Kilimanjaro. It's very grainy because I don't think the photo came out really well. But it was quite something. We kept looking at it for the entire hour of our journey to the airport. Inside the airplane, the pilot announced that, hey, you have Mount Kilimanjaro on your right. You can take photos. People started giving us their phone cameras. Hey, can you click a photo? Can you click a photo? And I think that's the moment when it hit us. Dude, how'd we get up there? This is way too high. All in all, I think it was some experience for me. The three things that I would definitely keep with me for the rest of my life are three Swahili words. One is Polé Polé. It just means slowly, slowly. You can apply it to anything that you want. Hakuna Matata, that's don't worry, because in the end, everything turns out okay. And Asante Sana, which means thank you, and I've just learned to be a lot grateful for whatever I have. Thanks a lot, guys.
Questions? We'll take questions now. Or after the base camp, one of your friends had AMS.
Yeah.
And you still continued.
Right, so all the three of us did continue. At that point in time, actually he was the fittest among all of us. And he felt really, it was odd for him that he was suffering the maximum AMS. But he took a little break, we all were around, and then we started back again. So I think in that 10 minutes, you just have to put your mental resolve all into it. And I think he definitely had the mental resolve to keep going on. Yeah. And I think it was also because the fittest member going down like that would have had a bad effect on us. I think he kept going on after that was definitely a push for the both of us as well.
You didn't take Diamox?
We did take Diamox the first 4 days, but its side effects are bad, so you generally avoid it at the summit.
So I've heard that in these kind of long treks up to a high place, like many times even if you're in a group, you'll kind of like, become like, you'll find yourself alone at many points of time. Did that happen to you?
Yes, absolutely. So especially during long treks when you know that there's a set path that everybody has to walk on, everybody wanders off on their own. And I think it happened almost every day, wherein you start off talking to each other and there's a conversation going, but as it starts to build up, you're only with yourself. It's weird because one, you're not used to being with your thoughts for that long a period. But after that, I think that's the experience that gets that peace while you're climbing. So I think it's a lot to do with how much do you like mountains. So I love mountains entirely. So being on the mountain and just walking by myself was very fulfilling in a way, yes.
Why don't you tell them about the match?
Oh, yeah, actually, yes. So at Karanga camp, I think these guys know about it. So when we reached the Karanga camp, our porters still hadn't gotten to set up our tents, and we were just roaming around. And I started chatting up with this Kilimanjaro park ranger. And this guy is watching a football match in Swahili. I'm not understanding anything. But suddenly I hear this loud voice that says, Latan. I'm like, wait, this is a Manchester United match going on. And I, being a fan, I definitely sit down there. And I start talking to him that, hey, explain me what's going on. I think United won that match 3-1. And I think that was a completely different experience. I was listening to a Manchester United match in Swahili at that height, being translated by a Kilimanjaro park ranger. I think that is one of those experiences that I'm always going to remember.
Well, I have a question as well. It's you saw something really beautiful, where you would see a sunrise or clouds beside you, and you would go, ah. Why is it necessary to experience something like awe? Does it help you in is there a addiction to it, or
Right. I think, again, as I said, that these moments become the high points. You've never seen something like this. This is completely novel. You know, not many people are ever going to see this. The sunrise that you see on top of Kilimanjaro, or the sun shining on the glacier of Kilimanjaro. And I don't know, it triggers something in the head that suddenly it's that turn that you take, or whenever it comes into view, that you feel, oh, this is something. And I think it's not me, it's just the human mind that perceives it that way. That when you see something beautiful, you just give it due respect.
and now coming back from the trip, are you the same guy, or experiencing, or is your day-to-day perception of how you go about?
Right. So I think these three things, especially Polé, which is why I also named my talk that, I do realize that slow and steady wins the race is a true statement. I don't think I was best prepared to get to the top, but just this fact of do it slowly, you can do it 10 steps and then stop, and then 10 steps and then stop. But as long as you have an idea of where you want to go, and you're slowly getting to there one step at a time, you're gonna get there. And after Kilimanjaro, I just have that feeling inside me that, I can do whatever I want. I just have to take the right steps in the right direction. And it'll take time, but I'll get there eventually. I think that's it's also got to do with me being more calm and patient, that it takes some time to get to the top.
So when generally people go on treks or like do some arduous stuff, the first thing that they stop doing is they stop making jokes, or like humor just breaks down. Like everybody just wants to get to the top, is struggling and all that. So did you have any funny moments where you just forgot that you were struggling and like made fun and like enjoyed that moment?
I think a lot such moments, man. Our group, and especially our guide, he'll keep talking about parties in Zanzibar and what happens in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. So I think, we kept talking during the entire trip. And in fact, I remember this, I was trying to call my parents, and I was trying to tell them that, hey, I couldn't get to the top when I was coming down. And I was just trying to joke to them that, hey, I couldn't get to the top, and I'm so sorry. But they were being very supportive at then, it's okay, it's fine, you've done this, it's great. And then in the background, my friend starts playing this song that I told them that I'll play this song if I reach the top. I'm sitting on the top of Kilimanjaro. And he starts playing in the background, and my parents are like, you're lying to us. Quite fun, yeah. But during the entire trip, I think we kept on. I think the jokes kept coming from it.
So, two questions actually. Did you see any wildlife?
There's
And
no wildlife.
No wildlife at all. Nothing.
No.
No snakes.
So there's
nothing?
only monkeys. So you have the blue monkeys there. So you have the blue monkeys and the white monkeys. That also you only see on the way down, and only for a very short stretch. Yeah, but no other wildlife.
And second question is, did you you spoke about the sunrises. How was the night sky over there?
Oh, the night sky during the moonlit times was very bright in a way. So when there's no moon, it's very dark. But during the moonlit nights, I think it was
A gazillion stars and.
oh yeah, a lot. Yes,
Yeah.
you can't. sadly.
So, I've been to Himachal once, so I wanted to ask this because it's a personal thing.
Sure.
When you stand so far up above, like on the top of, and you at a cliff, do you ever feel like jumping?
I think is this some personal experience coming?
No, no,
out?
no, no. It has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with. Oh my God, I come from depression or whatever it is. It's just so beautiful. You're like, let's just, Didn't you didn't get
I
that?
don't know. Maybe if I had a jetpack and I could just.
Okay, just
go
me
around,
then. Just
yeah,
me. Just me.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's-
No, but
I-
no.
I don't
In
think-
general, when you see a vast landscape like that,
Yeah.
you're able to see the entire thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes it sort of feels like, oh my God, I've seen it all. Khatam kar lenge.
So that happens. I mean, I wouldn't really jump. I wouldn't think about jumping, but so I understand. Yes, when you get to that point, it's like, okay, fine. I just want to be here, and this is it. It's like that movie Up, right? Once you've gotten to that top, besides Paradise Falls, you're there. You don't want anything else in life. Yeah, that has.
I have a question. Why did you choose Mount Kilimanjaro, not just any other mountain or something?
Okay, so we were deciding on what to do. One is we were thinking about Tanzania, and secondly, so we're trying to attempt the 7 summits, which is so the highest peak on every continent. They make up for the 7 summits in the world. So it's a global challenge in itself. And Kilimanjaro is the first trek that you usually do, because one, it's a non-technical climb, and second, it's supposed to be easier for beginners. So that's why we chose Kilimanjaro first. We're thinking of doing either Elbrus or some other trek next. We're thinking of Elbrus, but that's only next year. Next year. Yes. We can't do one every year. Yeah, we'll take him along. Yes. He'll be a liability, dude. On the peak, he's like, I want to jump.
Never actually jump.
Sure.
I'm sure at some point of the trek, you would have almost wanted to give up and say, I just can't do this. I need to go back.
Right.
So what was it that kept you going? What was that one thought or one achievement that you had in mind which made you think, no, I should keep
Right.
up and I should get there?
Yeah. So I think a lot of the part was played by the tour guide. He almost became a commander at times when he used to shout out at us saying that no surrender, no retreat, no regrets. And that's when we're like, okay, fine, we're going. But generally, I think it just, so you feel that at a particular point in time that you've given up and this is it and I want to go back. But I think I'd faced the similar situations even when I started running. I think, and I could relate to that, hey, nothing's going to happen. I just need to rest for 15 minutes and I'll be back up on my feet. So I think that helped me a lot. And I always gave myself that 15 minutes to sit down and think that, do I really want to continue or not? And the answer always was that, yeah, I'm okay, dude. So we can just go a little while longer. So I think that preparation, that mental preparation helped that, yeah, I can do a little bit more. Oh, yeah. Did we have Freshtalks then?
No.
But yeah, my subconscious mind knew somehow. All right.
What were the damages?
Sorry?
Like, how much did it cost the whole trip?
Oh, so it costed me. How many damages? So, yeah, materialistic damages.
We can see there were no damages.
It took a 2.5 lakh hit. So most of it was in trekking gear. So if anybody is looking out for trekking gear, I'm willing to rent it out. But so I think, yeah, I paid about 60,000 for trekking gear. And the entire trip would have costed me about 1.7, including airfare, living there, hiring the tour company, tipping, everything included. But then again, we took the cheapest trek and the cheapest flight and the cheapest hotel. So you can do it for about 1.7. Yeah. So I think it's only in India that you stay in a shitty hotel and the hotel is actually shitty. You can book a cheap hotel outside and it's still okay. Super. Thank you so much. I think it was great talking with you.
So Rohit, thank you so much for this inspirational talk. I think a very important takeaway was when you said that when you feel tired, wait 10 minutes, take time out, pole, and you will get to the top. It's always possible. So thank you for doing this talk, and thank you everyone for making time to come here.